Hey everyone, it's your host Marcus of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics is dating. And one of the things that people are having a trouble with is matchmaking, finding the perfect ideal match, finding your person in this complicated, busy world. And today we have the distinct honor to host Miss April Davis. She works and co-owns a professional matchmaking service called Luma. And it's a luxury matchmaking where it has humble beginnings, which began when she realized she needed to take her skill of intuition and understanding of people to the next level. She has always been a hard worker, a small town girl with big city dreams, and an MBA graduate by 20, working her way up at a Fortune 500 company and also pursuing modeling on the side. This woman is here to help change the paradigm and change the game and help us, men and women, connect. And because we are not doing well in that area at all. And her company, Luma, I had the distinct honor and pleasure of being a part of that for a time. So I am a previous client of the Luma experience. So without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the incredible Miss April Davis. How are you, Miss Davis? How's it going?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
Fantastic. Can't complain at all. I'm so happy you are here and you're sharing your time and your space and giving back in this way. This is absolutely necessary. What you're doing is absolutely necessary. First off, I want to ask a softball question. You have a professional matchmaking company, and it is helping connect the dots for people who are not making connections. Busy professionals, high C-suite level executives, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, they're not connecting. Why is that? That is strange to me. Can you help shed some light on that topic? Why are these professionals, doctors, lawyers, high-paid professionals, not able to connect? They have they have the fancy cars, they have all the money, they have all the things. Check, check, check. What's going on?
Well, I mean, just because somebody is successful in their career doesn't necessarily translate to their love lives. The skills that got you there in business are not necessarily the same skills that are going to help you when connecting with someone for a romantic relationship, right? And I think today's day and age, people are they're busy and they are also very particular. We live in a society that we can get whatever we want and we can order it up online. It shows up on our doorstep within hours. And so we're also constantly looking for more. We're never satisfied. We want the next upgrade, the next, the bigger house, the better whatever it is. And so we're not happy. We're never satisfied with what we have in front of us and constantly striving for more. And with all the apps and all the opportunities to meet people, order somebody up online, there becomes this kind of challenge because there's too many options, and you start to try to filter based on figuring out who isn't going to work versus trying to find somebody that is, because you don't know. It's you're more worried about someone that being the wrong fit, so you can filter them out, whether it's putting like filter or filtering out people that are like outside of an age range or a mile range or something, or just trying to narrow it down, because then we think that will help us to find the right person. But it oftentimes just keeps us single even longer.
Absolutely. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. I needed to hear that. Um, when did you've been doing this a long time? When
Yeah.
did you realize that you had that gift? When did the intuition start? From your bio, when did the intuition kick in? Like, I'm really good at this, and I can build an
Yeah.
organization. I can build a company around this.
Yeah. I started my first match was when I was 16 years old, and it was a coworker of mine. I worked in a little cafe, and she was a coworker of mine, and I introduced her to one of this gentleman that would come in. He's a patron, and I got to know him pretty well. And I thought, well, they might be a fit, so I introduced them to each other, and they fell in love, got married. fast forward like 10 years later, I was working in corporate America in process improvement. And um, I just had a lot of single girlfriends. And I was also, at the time, I was just dating. Now I'm married to him, but he's a divorce attorney. And so I had a different perspective of relationships and what works and what doesn't work. And so I started going around and meeting with all the different matchmaking agencies because I had recently just learned that was a thing. And I realized there was an opportunity to do better in the market because my background's in process improvement. And so I took bits and pieces from each one and improved upon it, how I thought would make it a better experience for the clients and we could do a better job for the clients. And apps weren't even around back then. There were some sites, but they were still kind of taboo. And so this was a way to, really apply that human touch and build, bring people together. And so that's how I kind of started the company.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I love how you bring those two together. Just because you're successful in business does not mean you're a good um match, or you're good at dating, or you're good at making connection. Is there any level, any kind of degree of recommendations or tips that you give your clients when setting them up for their ideal match? Any suggestions that you give to them, like, hey, don't do this. Don't talk politics,
Hmm.
don't talk shop, anything like that, any tips you could share?
Well, yeah, actually, we have a whole list of those kinds of things. But yeah, don't keep politics, religion, and exes out of the first date conversation. And some people think, oh, well, we need to talk about it so we can make sure that we're on the same page. Well, that's our job, the matchmaker show. We can filter out those kinds of things if that is really important to you. Well, we can make sure that if somebody just wants to date someone of a certain religion or political thought, we can filter some of that out. But I think it's it's I've come to find out that common sense isn't that common. So like, don't have more than two drinks on a date. And don't a lot of people, they go on a date and they think, well, what do I have in common with this person? They're single, I'm single, let's talk about that, let's talk about our dating experiences. And then they just sit there and they will rip on like the different mediums that they've met people through, or whether it's like match.com or apps or the service or whatever it is. And they just talk about all their dating experiences. And I just think that you've been on this planet for a long time. Probably you should have plenty more to talk about than just your experiences in dating. Like, talk about what are your interests, your hobbies, what do you love, and what are you passionate about? Because that's what people want to hear. They want to be with somebody that is interesting and has hobbies, has interest, has passions for something in life other than just complaining about dating. So
I love that. I love that. There you go. Some tea, y'all. Spilling the tea, giving insight, giving wisdom. So don't talk about your past relationships. That sounds, I feel like that's obvious, but apparently not. You've been doing
mm,
this a long time. It's not obvious.
yeah,
And
no.
you said it. They're doing your job. Like, we already know each other's political stance, your relationship history. Um, don't do that. Just don't try and pre-screen the pre-screen, right? Uh,
Well, I mean, those topics just stay away from because it tends to be very controversial. So just get to know each other for, find out what, all the things about them and stay away from things that could be more divisive, such as politics and maybe religion. So there's a lot of divisiveness that can come from that. And of course, your ex, because oftentimes people are just negative talking about whoever they've dated in the past. And that's never a good look on anyone as being negative in general. So we try to steer people away from those topics.
That's fair. I love it. I love it. Love it. I want to ask this question here on you mentioned apps. Around the time when you got the bug and you got started, apps weren't really a thing. They were there, but they weren't as prominent as they are now. And so
Mhm.
today, 2025, Luma Luma is still thriving. And I want to ask, how is it compare? How does your matchmaking service compare to a dating app?
Well,
Why should people choose Luma over a
yeah.
dating app?
S- So an app, they're good for about 10% of the population. So if you're a really good looking woman or a really good looking man, you're going to get a ton of a lot of attention on the apps, and the rest of the people are not. Like I just recently heard a guy say that he had to swipe 2,000 times to get one date. And yeah, I mean, that's really would be frustrating for people. And you have all kinds of different mindsets. So you have the spammers and the bots, of course, and all the scams. But you also have people that just want to hook up. And then there's people that just want to be pen pals and are looking for attention. And they never intend to actually leave their house or get off the app. They just want to, get validation all day long. And so it's a small group of people that are serious about finding a real relationship. And that's where matchmaking comes in, because we only work with people that really want a relationship and that connection, and that bond. They're not looking for a hookup. They're not looking to waste their time. A lot of times they're really busy professionals and executives, people that don't want to put their profile online so everybody can see them. And, they're often picky and they're particular about who they're looking for in a match. So they want what they want, and they'll go to a service to seek that.
Is it you? I want to stay right here for one more second. You said they don't want to put their profiles online, right? But you also
Mhm.
you run into the issue of connection. Why is it a C-suite like the executive doesn't want to put himself out there on social media? Is that potentially a target for them? Like, is it a safety concern?
Well,
Well, it's a money concern. Like, we want to remove the money aspect, or those type of thing. Why don't they
I
want to put
mean,
themselves out there?
not really, because they don't know. It's not like they're putting their income on there. But so if you are maybe a high profile executive, you own a business, you don't want your employees to see your profile online typically.
Ah,
And that could be embarrassing. You also don't have the time. It's a part-time job to date on these apps. And with all the swiping, with all the messaging, and then finally meeting somebody just to find out that they're nothing like what how they portray themselves on the app. And so it comes down to an efficiency type of thing. They're outsourcing it, just like anything else in life. You can outsource. You don't mow. A lot of these people, they're not going to mow their own lawn. So why would they spend time on an app or it's something that they can outsource essentially?
absolutely. Absolutely. Any coaching around grooming? Any tips on grooming? What what not to wear? Some fupa, some first date fupas.
Well, we actually work with, we have wardrobe consultants that we will have our clients meet with, and they'll help them to figure out what is going to work for them and their unique style. They'll go through their closets, they'll go through like maybe what date outfits ideas that they have, and maybe make suggestions about something more they could add to their closet. And so everyone's unique. But I think what's the most important thing is in this sounds obvious, but show up and actually try, put in some effort. I think people are so burnt out from dating that they won't even put in the effort. And I've heard this before, where they'll show up for a date and then go to the bathroom after they've decided if they're attracted to the person, and then like try to fix themselves up to look better or or something, because they just didn't put any effort in to begin with. And yeah, and that's not really attractive to anybody. So if you're going in with a negative mindset, they're going to see through it ultimately.
Absolutely. I love this. I love this. As you can tell, this is good. This is what we need, right? Gentlemen, who's your target audience? Is it men? Who do you have more of? Do you
It's
have a
both.
shortage of men, or
Well, I mean, it depends on where, but we need men and women. It's funny because the apps are like 70% men online and on the apps, and because men have this like I'm gonna do it myself mentality, and then women there's usually matchmakers have a lot more women in their database because women want to be found, they want to be pursued by their man. And so yeah, we have all the women. We definitely have a lot more women, but we take men and women as clients, and then we have our own proprietary database where anyone can join and be considered as a match to our clients. And then we also have recruiters. We work with other matchmakers. We have different alliances and partners all over, where we can help to find the right one for our clients. But yeah, we need. anyone and everyone, that is a good person has, usually our clients want people that are successful, meaning like they are doing well. You don't have to be a millionaire necessarily, but gainfully employed, have a car that works, and going places, ambition can really go far in people's perspective, and just take care of themselves and really like care and want a real relationship. So we work with all kinds of people from celebrities, billionaires to the engineer that just needs help, has never been on a date before. So just all ages too. We have 20s, people in their 20s up to 80s.
Absolutely. I love it. What about coverage? Where demographically are you
We're
needing clients or should you need clients?
Yeah, we're primarily in the US. We now the major metros, but we are expanding to all over the world. We have clients all over the world, and of course Canada, yeah, and some of the Latin Americas. So
Ah, so there's options overseas for you expats in the audience that are watching this right now. There isn't it's not
yeah,
there's hope.
oh yeah, and some of them they want to date somebody in the US, so they that's why they might work with us too.
Absolutely. So help me here. When I think of I'm thinking of attraction. People suffer from self-confidence, higher levels of depression we've ever seen before. Um how and people just lack that confidence. I love the fact that you guys offer the outfit consultation, but for that that executive who
Mhm.
is lacking confidence in their appearance or overall like physical appearance, is that a factor? Should they still apply? Well, I guess what I'm asking is what is not the ideal client? 'Cause I think to a degree physical attraction plays a role, but I don't think is
Mhm.
as big as most people think it is, right? And I think
No,
we
I
should
don't think it is
clarify.
either. And women it's less important to women than it is to men. But I mean, with regards to what you're saying with depression, being out and everything, exercise is 5 times more effective than any depression pill. And it's also going to be a lot more effective in just boosting. It's not only effective in, physically helping you um, be in better shape, but you feel better. Your endorphins are running. You feel more confident. You have all these, all the feel good hormones are brewing. So I always, when I'm talking to people about confidence, exercise is one of the top things that you can do to improve that because there's so many different benefits. And you might meet somebody at the gym too. There's always that.
Ah, so work out. Get in the gym, work it out. I
Hmm.
love your train of thought. There's nothing out there. There's very few things out there that can't be fixed, right? You can work on your haircut. You can work on, you know, your grooming. You can work on those things.
Hmm.
Those aren't permanent things.
It takes ambition. Like people have to want to. If they just sit there and they complain about it or complain about the opposite sex, mad that they're not attracted to me or whatever, they think that everybody else is the problem instead of looking inward and figuring out, okay, I'm the common denominator. Maybe I need to change something about me in order for others to find me attractive. So
Facts.
usually that's the case. It's like,
Huh,
because you can't change the world, right? You can just sit there, yeah, you can go ahead and complain about it all you want, but nobody cares. Nobody's going to listen. You have to change yourself at the end of the day.
absolutely. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Right.
Love it. Elite men and women. Are elite men and women equally open to dating someone beneath their socioeconomic status? Do you find that women tend to care about that when dating? Do men, high executive men, do they care that, oh, she's not a doctor, she's not a lawyer? Do they care? I don't think they do.
Well, in terms of income, women tend to want to date up, whereas men tend to want to date down. They're more attracted to the woman that is going to be nurturing, is going to allow him to be the provider, to really, take care of her and help, provide her with security in different forms, not only security like physically, but, financially, maybe even emotionally too. And women are facing a real predicament right now because they're making more money than ever. And they feel like they should be with a man that's more successful than she is. But the thing is, I've never had a man tell me, oh, I need a girl that makes, X amount of money and, has this on her resume. The guys don't care. The women look at men differently, and they want different things from them than men want from women. And women have a hard time understanding that. They maybe don't like so much the idea that they can't earn a higher caliber, a higher income man. And it's just, unfortunately, it's just the way of the world. Like, this is just nature. I didn't create this. I'm just the messenger. And but it's our reality. And I think a lot of women are having a hard time with it because there's just fewer and fewer of those men available as their income goes higher. And they're competing with women that are literally 20 years younger than them, because guys tend to date, and they can attract and they can date women that are easily like 20 years younger than them. And that can be really, a hard pill to swallow. It's really challenging for women, say, like if she's in her 50s or 60s and she's trying to date a man her age, around her age, and she just has a lot more competition because it's every woman around her, and, down to 20 years younger or so. And like I said, the guys just don't care necessarily about how much money she makes. And the ones that do, I would be concerned and be questioning their motives.
That's fair. Absolutely, absolutely be concerned. I wanna. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. April Davis of Luma Matchmaking Service. 5 stars. 5 stars. Like I told you guys, I used to be a Luma customer, and so this works. This is real. This is real life. I don't know how much tea I should spill, right? I want to give out your processes. One of the things that was unique to me is you don't let the guy see the girl. I think, if I remember, I don't know if you still do that. That's what my experience was.
Well, it's more so if you are in our database and you are a match to our clients, we don't share our clients' photos because it's confidential. Our clients have hired us to find, the person for them, and we'll share photos of the potential matches to our clients because that's something that they pay for. And but they still want their confidentiality, so that's why we don't necessarily share. It's just but every situation, every client's unique. We get to know our clients really well before we even take them on, because we want to understand, who they are and what are the parameters around their search, so that we can determine if we can even take them, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. I want to play a game with you. I want to see how your mind works and how you think. How would you match someone whose lifestyle includes private jets, galas, and global travel? How would you match that? Who's the I? So let's say it's a guy.
Right.
Let's say 40, middle, handsome guy, worth athletic. Who's a good candidate? Is that a submissive woman? Is that a does she need to be a traveler herself? Where would you start with that
Well,
match?
it's, I would say it starts with a conversation with the client and what he's attracted to. What is he looking for? Does he want somebody that wants to have children someday? Does he want somebody that is, can drop everything and just fly around the country with him? It comes down to what he wants. But he's a super dominant, like alpha type of man. He's used to making the decisions. He's used to, he likes control. Somebody that is going to be a compliment to him, is who I would look for, and what is important to him. He may respect a woman that is really strong and really successful, but more likely than not, he's not looking for somebody that is like that in a partner, because that's not what he's attracted to. I mean, like, two alphas don't typically do well together. They want somebody that's, more beta with an alpha. And yeah, so hopefully that gives you a little insight.
That does. That does. What about social impact? Someone who's in the political arena. Someone who's I know someone who's like they may not be president one day, but they're going towards they have to hug babies. They're very community based, right?
Mhm.
Someone who's very community based. They're out and mobile. Um, that that's a hard match, I think.
Yeah, but I think so somebody like that, I've actually worked with someone that is in politics, and I think like somebody like him, he needed somebody that was going to be willing to put in the work too, like a really good partner, has a clean background record, um, and because they're going to be up for against a lot of scrutiny, and so somebody that's willing to go out on the campaign trail with them, and and do speeches themselves, and be a really supportive type of partner. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we all need, is somebody that's going to be supportive of us, no matter who we are, what gender we are, and what kind of position we're in. Somebody that's going to be really supportive, and that's a big role to play. So, you need somebody that is capable of doing all of those things, and is ambitious too. Because somebody that is just wanting to watch TV and doesn't have a lot of ambition probably isn't going to be a good match for him.
Absolutely, or her. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
I want to walk through. I have hired Luma to match me up. You have given me a custom designer to help me get my swag right, get my swagger on, right?
yeah.
And now you have set me up with a match, or you've let me know, hey, this young lady is interested in you. Um, uh, you set up the first date, you set up the first encounter, whether it be in person or virtual, whatever the case may be. What happens after that first date? Is Luma helping me with the next connection? What's can help us there?
So after the date, we get feedback from both people, and we ask for a rating, and a lot of like specific feedback, and that helps us to understand you. And if it is positive, then we encourage our clients to go out with that person again, and try seeing them in a different light. Don't just go to maybe interview style date, do some kind of fun activity, because you really get to know people better that way, and then they take it from there. If it's not a match, then we go back and we continue searching and vetting people on our client's behalf, and then we can set them up with the next person.
Love it, love it, love it. This has been an incredible conversation. April Davis, y'all, on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, helping us do better in dating and helping those connections, right? Fellas, I can't get any realer than this. Miss April Davis and her company is the real deal, right? If you guys have been struggling, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. Marcus, I can't find a date. Connect, connect, connect. Miss Davis, how can people connect with you? How can people find you? How can people learn more? Because Luma is on mission and you guys are changing the world every day.
Yeah, well, they can just go to our website. It's lumasearch.com, Luma search.com. It stands for luxury matchmaking, Luma, and fill out the form. You can be part of our proprietary database and be considered as a match, or you can be a proactive client and have us work on your behalf. It just depends on how ambitious you are.
Absolutely. What should I have before what do I need to have my ducks in a row? Background check, driver's license. What do I need to have before I match?
Great photos. I recommend everyone have great photos, because I mean that's just how attraction and dating and everything works. So, um, professional photos can be wonderful, but you don't necessarily need them. Your iPhone is great. You can put it on a timer. Just make sure you have good lighting. Take a couple different shots of you, whether it's in your professional attire or doing whatever hobby you're into. I think all of those things, but also be interesting. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people are that they don't have really hobbies, or they consider it a hobby, but they've done it once in the last year. And I just think that it's important to be, whether like you have something to talk about because you're interested or in some topic, or you're physically doing something. It's important to have things to be able to pull from when you're in a conversation, when you're on a date, and you're not just getting your information from, I don't know, the apps, or just, with all the social media and stuff. I think it's important to be passionate. I hear that all the time. People are looking for somebody that's passionate about something, whether it's their career or hobby or something, because, that's what's interesting and that's really attractive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Connect, connect, connect. I put it out there. You got to get on board. Like we end, Miss April, thank you. Thank you for what
Well,
you
thank you
do.
for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for changing the world. Like we end every show, we gotta let this incredible woman go. She has many more lives to change, many more couples to connect, and many more people to hook up. Cause so we can make better connections. So check them out. All right, y'all. Like we end every show. Take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and the incredible Miss April Davis of Luma Search Luxury Matchmaking. Love you guys. Bye.